Let's see. 2, 6, 7. All right, I call to order the City of Natchitoches Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I would ask everyone to put their phones on silent or turn them off at this time. Mine's not on?
There you go.
Mine's on. All right, I call to order the City of Natchitoches Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I'd ask everyone to turn their phones off or on silent at this time. The next City Council meeting is December the 13th at this location. Applications for rezoning will be introduced at that time, and final action on zoning requests or rezoning requests are January the 10th, 2022. Encourage everybody to attend at least the voting meeting. I encourage the applicants to show up at the introduction meeting, even though they may not be called on to speak. If someone shows up who says they can't be here on the final passage, historically the City Council has let them speak. So I would encourage the applicant to be there just in case they need to talk about it, but in theory it's for introduction only. If we have any waivers tonight on either lot lines or variances, anyone who is aggrieved by the decision must file an appeal in writing within 10 days of tonight's decision, and then the City Council is required to docket that within 45 days of receipt of it. The procedure we're going to follow tonight is that the applicant or his designee is going to come forward to the AMBO and present their case. Then we'll hear from people in favor of the application, and upon conclusion of that, we will hear from folks in opposition to the applications, and then either the applicant or his single designee will come forward to address the concerns only opponents had, and then the rebuttal, as it were, will be limited only to what issues were raised by the opposition. I'd ask you, if you didn't sign in, to please do so. When you come up to the mic, please identify yourselves, speak directly into the mic. All Zoom participants should mute their mics until it's time for them to talk. One of the things we won't allow is they won't be talking from the AMBO to the audience. It's time for folks that are in front of it to speak to the members of the commission. Our next Planning and Zoning Commission meeting will be Tuesday, January the 4th, 2022 at 5 o'clock. Any other comments? Madam Director?
No, sir, not at this time.
Ms. Oaks, would you call the roll?
Ethel Blake, Ron Brown,
Here.
Michael Lewis,
Here.
Bobby Claiborne, Jamie Flanagan,
Here.
Ricky McAllister,
Here.
Anita Du Bois,
Here.
Charles Whitehead III,
Here.
Isaac Lewis.
Here.
All right. Ladies, by my account, that's a quorum.
Yes.
Roman numeral 3, approval of the minutes from the October 5, 2021 meeting. The commissioners have been provided copies of the proposed minutes from our prior meeting. If there are any additions, corrections, or deletions, please make those now. If otherwise, I would entertain a motion to dispense with their formal reading and accept them as proposed.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Lewis.
Second.
Second by Lewis. Different Lewises. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Ms. Oaks, just catch me before I get out of here. All of the city meetings are now recorded and are posted to the city's website. You can go to the city's YouTube channel at City of Natchitoches, LA, or use the city's website link, www.natchitoches.la.gov/content/meeting-videos. Roman numeral 4, old business, subsection A. The City Council approved the application by Mr. Clay Mayu to rezone the following. Unit number 103 of the Natchitoches condominiums is shown on the plat recording conveyance book 577, folio 127. Also contains 3.9553% of the, quote, common area, close quote, from B3 commercial to B3 commercial with an additional BA zoning. The reason is for consumption of alcohol on the premises. That's at 584 Front Street, and that passed by the city council. Any other old business not on the agenda?
No, sir, not at this time.
Roman numeral 5, subsection A, the application by Mr. David Zachariah Richardson to re-subdivide the following: a lot on the southwest corner of 5th and Amulet Street, and the north one half of lot on the south side of Amulet Street, east by Knott's, south by Bob, and lot south side of Amulet Street, east by Richardson, south by Blunt Street, west by Bob and Knott's, shown on a plat of survey recorded at conveyance book 684, folio 205, and the south one-half lot side of Amulet, east by Knott's, south by Blunt, west by Bob, and lot south side of Amulet Street, east by Bob and Knott's, south by Blunt Street, west by Bloodworth and Theus. The reason is to reduce the property boundary of the car wash bearing municipal address 345th Street, Exhibit Number 1, and Councilperson District Number 3. Would the applicant or his designee come forward as we get a summary from the director?
As stated, Chairman, this application is to rezone the property lines. In a notice in our public hearing, though, there was an error which said to extend the property boundary of the car wash, and we just wanted to make note that that is not correct. He is actually reducing the property line to make the car wash property smaller and to enhance the residential portion of the lot size. He's wanting to sell that car wash, is my understanding.
And as I see here, it appears that the, I guess it'd be the west property line is now going to be the fence.
Yes,
Is that correct?
that's correct.
Is he going to add this to the other property,
What do you mean, add?
to the property that's further to the west?
Let's see what you're talking about.
Well, I don't guess it really matters. That's still enough to make a lot.
Right, I mean, the whole lot size itself for the car wash is enough for a standard size lot.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this remaining lot 2A is going to be a substandard lot.
The .147
Right.
acres,
Right.
he's not gonna add anything to that. He's gonna leave it as it is.
Okay. All right. All right, will the applicant or his designee come forward? Is anybody here on behalf of the application of Richardson? Please come forward, sir. You, please identify yourself, and you heard the description by the director. Is there anything you need to add to that, sir?
First of all, my name's Wade Stevens, and no, sir, I can't think of anything.
Okay. All righty. Any questions for Mr. Stevens?
Yes. That .147 acres, what are you gonna do with that?
I'm sorry, do what now?
That .147 acres that you have, that you're cutting out of it, what would happen to that?
That's
He-
the actual car wash.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, that's the
Where
car
the
wash?
fence of the, where the fence is on the property.
No, lot 2B is the car wash. That's
Two A.
0.314.
2A.
2A, the 147, what he's cutting out. Do you know what Richardson intends on doing
Well,
with it?
actually, all of that. This is the original size. And that belongs to,
The whole thing right there. Isn't it?
see, let me turn it the other way, that's 6th Street and Fifth.
Here's the police station.
That's the police station, this is him.
Right. And he's gonna have this, the car wash, and then you're gonna have this piece right here, this .147. And so, I guess what Mr. Lewis's question is, he gonna add it to this.
See right here? That's the one he's cutting out right here, right? This is the whole thing, and that's the part he's cutting out. What you gonna do with that?
Well, you see, he actually owns more.
Yeah, he wants more than that. Maybe the survey's over this, I guess.
I mean, does everybody understand? Richardson actually owns more property on the western side of this tract 2A. And so, I think what Mr. Lewis's concern is, which is what mine was, is that this is a substandard lot. He really needs to add to
He's just adding, he's just had it resurveyed and is adding that to that other lot.
Yeah, but it's not
Okay.
drawn that way, sir.
Yeah, the survey.
You know, that's,
Now I understand.
your real concern is just lot 2B, .314 acres, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and this is just an issue with the survey, and we may have to, if we approve it, we may have to approve it getting a corrected survey, corrected,
He had it resurveyed.
But it's not.
or redrawn
It
then.
doesn't show
Okay.
That the survey be
Okay, I'm sorry,
redrawn.
all right.
I don't doubt that the pins were set.
Right.
But it's not drawn. What it needs to show is it needs to show your car wash that you're gonna buy.
Mm-hmm.
And then it needs to show everything else that Richardson's owns. He can't cut out,
Just-
he
Okay.
can't have like an Oreo.
He doesn't have a new
can't
plat.
He can't have the filling in the middle. He's
Right.
gotta add it to the other side.
I understand.
And I don't think that'd be an issue. It looks like they've set enough pins to do it. They may have to set this one, or find this one over on Blunt Street, at the southwest corner, but that's about all he would like.
So what is your recommendation, Chairman?
Well, let's talk about it. What do y'all think? I mean, we need to. we
So
need
that
to-
car wash supposed to be in the little bitty .147?
No, the car wash is in the 2B. You see where it says.
Yeah, it's in the big one, yeah.
Right.
Okay, that
So
whole
what we're
thing.
talking about is maybe approving it subject to him adding this .147 to this other track that he already has.
Right,
Right.
according
And
to
so
what
that
he
he would
was
only have
saying.
2 tracks, because right now he'd have 3 tracks. He'd have the car wash, the leftover from the car wash, for lack of a better term, and his other property.
Right.
And he was saying that he wanted to add to the residential lots to
Okay.
make that bigger. But the survey plat isn't indicating
Yeah,
that.
well, that's
We need
something
to
we
see,
think.
we need to.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, well, I think
all that
we
too.
can,
That's basically.
I think,
Okay.
well, let's hear, is there anybody, to speak in opposition to the
Gotcha,
application
okay.
of Richardson?
Okay.
Hold on, Clerk, sir, would you please?
Yes, sir.
Sit down and let this lady, we'll give you a chance. If you want to speak, ma'am, please come up here. And you're welcome to take your mask off so we can, because we're recording this, so we want to be able to,
Okay, my name is Valerie Evans, and I stay right across from the car wash. My concern was, is it gonna be some more extended to that car wash there? But however it goes, that car wash is not safe. It's a lot goes on over there, arguing, drinking, whatever you want to call it, it goes on at the car wash, and I'm just really upset about it. I don't get no rest at night, loud music, day and night. So that's my concern
well, I
about the
understand-
car wash.
I understand, but you understand that all we're here today is to talk about cutting the original car wash property down to where the fence is. It's not gonna change use, it's not gonna, we're not here about zoning from the standpoint of use. This is just about realigning some lot lines, and I certainly understand your concerns. But, do you have any concerns about the fact that this car wash is gonna be on a smaller piece of property now?
I mean, I don't approve. Smaller, bigger, however, I don't approve.
And what is your basis for not?
I mean, my son, people hid out at the car wash to kill my son in my door, and I don't approve of it. And I'm very upset about it. I told him about it. He didn't think it was important to ban them away from the car wash, and I just don't, it's just danger to me. So it's a lot goes on over there. I got grandchildren, plays out there. They urinate over there in your face. They do all kind of stuff there. I don't think a car wash should be there, period. Not where people got to live in their homes. They plays music so loud, it jars your windows, your living room. And, I don't approve of it.
Any questions?
I just, I didn't get her name on the plat where she lives. What's,
I live at, my name is Valerie Evans.
Evans, okay, got you, okay. that's all.
503 Blount.
Yes, ma'am, I got you, thank you.
So that's all I have to say about that. It's just a lot goes on over there.
Yes.
Ms. Evans, have you, called the police?
I called the police, they got a report. I went to him, so I can handle what I need to handle on my end. He did not do what I asked him to do, to ban these people from the car wash. I stayed scared there because I live by myself. I stayed scared there for I don't know how long. And, I mean, they hid over there to the car wash behind the fence. That's another thing. Somebody behind the fence, if they want to do something to you, you cannot see. The police officer cannot see from the police station to our end in the back. And they do have a report of where they went to the car wash and did what they did. And they do all kind of stuff over there. It's just not safe for the ones that live in that area, back there in that area. And I called the police 2 months ago, somebody in the broad daytime went in my house, broke in my house in the broad daytime. I called the police. Well, did you see anybody at the car wash? There's so many at the car wash. I don't know who went in there, in the daytime. So to me, it's just unsafe. And for us resting at night, you can't rest at night. You can't get no nap in the daytime. Somebody playing music all day, all night. And that's my concerns. If it wouldn't have been for my daughter pulled in there where the car wash at, my son would have been seriously hurt or dead. They would have been seriously hurt or dead. Police stopped one, and the other ones got away with me looking at them, and with my daughter looking at them, the police looking at them. They hid at the car wash. And so I don't approve of it. Especially that fence, I don't approve of that either, because that's what they was hiding behind the fence. And then in the pews where they washed the cars. It had 3 of them. So to me, that's pretty serious. I don't approve of it.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else to speak in opposition to the application of Richardson?
Good evening. My name is Anna Santiago, and I live at 523 Amulet, next to the property. And the property, the car wash, the property right next to my house and the car wash. And my concern is just like Miss Evans, it's always something going on at the car wash. And I really wanted to know what was he gonna do with the property inside, next to me. He got the car wash and he got the property. And my concern was what he was gonna do with that, because we got the letter saying he wanted to extend it. And I just heard that was a mistake, so it just confused us because it's a lot of things going on all the time. We got children. And my thing is to try to keep, it's so much going on, and y'all know what's going on in Natchitoches. And my concern was to try to keep our children and our neighbors safe. And we just don't have no safety. Because if things go on, it was a young man down there beating on the car, cursing, and finally the police came and walked over, and he told them something. And by the time he got back in there, and they settled down, they started all over again. We don't know whether they're gonna start shooting or what they're gonna do, because that's what, we just had a drive-by shooting the other day. So it is dangerous over there where we are with the car wash.
Can you tell me how changing this lot line is gonna make it more dangerous?
Well, it probably won't, because changing the lot line is going to be just what's going on from the beginning. The shooting, the loud music, we can't rest, but it's not going to change that. And probably once somebody get hurt or killed, then somebody will do something about it. That's all I can see.
But Ms. Santiago, remember also, I explained to you that your concerns and everything should be taken to city council, and they would be able to hear what your concerns are better than what we have here for this platform.
Yes, you did.
Yes, ma'am.
But after Miss Evans got up.
Right,
we
right. I
said,
just wanted to
Yeah.
put that on record that it was indicated that when you're ready, you can make
Right.
petition to city council.
You're right.
Any more questions from Ms. Santiago?
No, I'm.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anyone else to speak in opposition to the application of Richardson? Sir, if you'd like to come back up and add anything, you're more than welcome to. Okay, you'll decline, that's fine. Discussion by commission members.
I move
Did
we
what?
approve with an updated survey, with a corrected survey.
Showing, okay.
Right.
Does everybody understand we're going to conditionally approve it, or the motion is to conditionally approve it, having Richardson give us the survey showing the new car wash lot and essentially the balance of his property? Does that give anybody? All right, we've got a motion by
Second.
Ms. DuBois and a second by Matt. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. And so he'll just need to call Miss Rock, and she'll explain it to him, and as soon as it's here, we'll sign it. It'll be final in 11 days, so, all right? Thank you. Now, you or David will be responsible for taking the final plat to David Stamey's office at the clerk of court, recording it, and providing a copy showing the recording information for the planning and zoning office. All right? Thank you, sir. Let's see. What did I do with mine? All right, new business, subsection B. The application by Monsi Miyares to request a variance on the following. Lot 10A of the re-subdivision of lots 10, 11, 20, and 21 of East Broadmoor subdivision, unit number 1, as shown on map slide 618A. The variance request is a variance of the 10 by 20 parking spots to change the requirement to a 9 by 20 parking space. The reasons for retail development is the corner of Kaiser and East Fifth Street, exhibit number 2 in Commissioner Packet, and Councilperson District number 1. Would the applicant or his designee come forward while the director summarizes the application?
So as you know, this is going to be a restaurant that's going to be next door to the Chick-fil-A area. And the lot size itself is a bit smaller, so in order for them to have the required number of parking spaces, which they would actually have more spaces than what's necessary, but the space size itself needs to be reduced, is what they're asking, to be able to place a dumpster and to be in compliance with our spacing size.
I warned them when they came, I think it was Sealed Development, did that Canes, and they had this other deal that they were gonna have it's gonna be very tight. That's been 12 to 13 years ago, but nobody listens, so.
I know, Chairman, we do have several persons on call. I'm not sure if there's going to be anyone on call who would like to speak. If so, they could let us know, but I also know we do have a representative here for them also.
Yes, well, the applicant or his designee needs to come forward and at least put that on. Is that you, Mr. Gillette?
Yes, sir. My name's Barry Gillette. I'm here on behalf of the seller. Zach Knudsen is the record owner through 411 LLC. And the application, I think, for the variance has come from the purchaser, Sun Holdings Turbo Restaurants LLC. And I don't know if they have a representative here tonight, but they've developed the site plan. I assume, Mr. Chairman, that you've seen the site plan
I have.
for the property. And their request is to, instead of the by code 10 by 20 foot parking spaces, reduce the width 9 by 20 feet to give them a little more parking spaces for the restaurant that they intend to build there.
So you don't represent this Monsi Miaris?
I'm with Collett Retail. I'm working in concert with Collett Retail with the seller, and I've been in communication with Monsi there in Dallas, Texas, with Sun Holdings, and they will develop this property, subject to the variance, of course.
Do we have anybody from Monsi on the line?
We have several.
Yes, we have also the civil engineer.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield
All
to,
right, hold on just one second,
Okay.
Mr. Glatt. I appreciate that. Mr. Glatt's going to yield. Sir, if you would identify yourself and tell us who you're representing.
Yes, my name is Armando Palacios, and I'm the architect for this project. And I wanted to introduce also our civil engineer that works in the area, that is responsible for the civil plans. And he knows better exactly what is the need in regards to the dimensions of the parking spaces.
And so,
Are you able to jump in and say what is needed for the parking spaces and what it is?
I just want to make sure I have someone on record saying that they are representing Monsi Miaris.
Yeah.
Because,
I am here also.
just please,
am Fonzie.
please identify yourself, so that way, I just want to make sure that I have somebody here that is appearing on behalf of the applicant. I understand Mr. Gillett's here on behalf of the seller, but we normally don't take applications up unless somebody shows up and says that they are representing the applicant. And I just want to make sure.
I am the applicant. I am with the representative of February. My name is Fonzie.
All right, and you heard the description by Mr. Gillette and by the director.
Yes.
Is there anything you need to add to that?
No.
All right, let's see if the commission has any questions for you.
I have one for the director. How many parking spaces are required for this establishment?
There was 24, I think. Hold on one second.
And that's a 10 by 20?
Gonna be reduced down to a 9 by 20.
So they have enough space for how many 10 by 20 lots?
Hold on one second. I think they were required to have over 24.
that's correct.
That's why they have to reduce it.
It was recommended that instead of reducing the parking space size, that we'll reduce the number of parking spaces. But if they did that, if they did not reduce the parking space size, then their development for the building structure itself will be thrown off, is what I was told. So that's why they're requesting for a reduction in parking space size.
Mr. Chairman, we've had many discussions here, not that it necessarily made a difference with a decision that we made, but how 10 by 20 was the size established many years ago, before everybody was driving Suburbans and full-size pickups and things of that nature, making the current size parking lots of 10 by 20 actually smaller than they need to be. So I'm concerned with a 9 by 20. I think it's unfortunate because they can't reduce the number of lots. I would be more in favor of that than reducing the size of the lots.
What would, if they went with the 10 by 20, what would it be reduced to? We'd have to waive for?
Yes.
Well, let's talk about it. I mean, we can do the, well, I guess what I need to hear, is there anybody else to speak on behalf of the application of Miaris
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, there are some other examples of 9 by 20-foot parking spaces in the community, in particular, the Shadow Center next to the Walmart Supercenter. That's a 45,000 square foot retail development there. And back in 2001, when Sandor develop that property. You see Hibbett Sports and other tenants in that, AT&T's in that shopping center. And at that time, they requested and were obliged to build that center with 9 by 20-foot parking spaces. To give you a frame of reference, and that's what you've had there, and that's been a successful shopping center adjacent to Walmart. In fact, it's got a curb cut that goes into the Walmart Supercenter parking lot.
Is anyone else here to speak on behalf of the application of Miores?
This is Todd Church. I'm the civil engineer.
Yes, sir.
One of the other reasons that we changed the requirement was that, as you can see, as you enter the concrete drive and entrance drive, you're doing almost like a 180 to get into the drive-through. We needed more room there so that we can have a safe turning radius. So that's why we reduced the width of the parking spots as well in that area, so that we could have that drive from the door.
All righty. Anybody to speak in opposition to this application? Yes, sir, you want to speak? Please come forward and go to the microphone.
You want me to?
How y'all doing? My name is Jamar Ficklin. I'm a resident of 523 Keegan Street. I received this letter last week, but I thought it was about the building altogether, but apparently it's just about the parking lot.
This is the different one. You're across the street. This one is next door to Raising Cane's.
Okay, so this ain't on East Fifth and
That's not the one by Keegan.
okay.
This one is not, this is the next application.
All right, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'd rather you come up and have the wrong one than be sitting here and miss it. All right, is there anyone else in opposition to the application by Miores? All right, well, since there was no opposition, there'll be no rebuttal. Let's have a discussion by commissioners.
Yep, motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Lewis, second by Jamie. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. That variance will be final in 11 days,
Thank you, sir.
presuming nobody takes an appeal.
I appreciate y'all. Thank
No
you.
problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks online.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Roman numeral 5, new business, subsection C, the application by Liscotti Development Corporation to rezone the following lots 2, 3, 4, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of Block E of the Keegan Addition, less 2,271 square feet to the Highway Department, and Lot 5 of the Keegan Addition, less 797.6 square feet to the Highway Department from B1 Commercial to B3 Commercial for retail development, the corner of East Fifth and Kaiser Avenue. Exhibit 3 in your packet, and Councilperson District Number 2. I think I would point out, aren't we, in my highlighted portion of it, I think you're actually leaving one lot out. Isn't there a lot that's offset on the Kaiser Avenue, that Ingram property there?
That is the lot that is owned by DOTD or
No,
regulated?
the other way, to the east.
You're talking about the Ingram property itself, or you?
Well, you see that there, isn't there, I thought the plat I looked at, it got this, it's not totally a straight line from Keegan to Kaiser. I thought it was offset, picking up that other Ingram lot that fronts on Keegan, Kaiser rather. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Okay, well, we
looking at the
got
plat.
2, so this is what I have.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
So it should have been this one too, is what you're talking
Right.
about, right here.
Right, right.
Right.
So, if you'll see on your highlighted portion, there's an Ingram lot that is directly to the east that should have been included in your highlighted in your highlighted provision.
So it's gonna dogleg over there.
Right,
All right.
right. It's gonna pick up that, I guess it's maybe 60 feet wide or so. All right, Madam Director, if you'll summarize this application as we hear from the applicant or his designee.
Yeah, as you know, this is an application, it's another restaurant that's going to be developed here. If you notice on the corner, right there of Kaiser and East Fifth Street, that's the lot that I was going to speak of. It's owned by the city, but it's regulated by DOTD. There were some issues that arose before, or not really an issue, but there was concern in reference to that lot of whether or not the city would sell that lot or retain it. After speaking to the buyers, they have indicated that they will, once the development is approved, they will also maintain that lot.
And that's a vestige of the expropriation widening Kaiser Avenue 15 years ago.
Well, this is, I think they're talking about doing something about a roundabout in the future.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Please, sir, you, state your name and who you represent.
Sure, Mr. Whitehead. My name is Mark Roberts. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Lascotti Development Corporation, on this application to change the zoning classification to B1, from B1 to B3.
Okay, and for what, why do they need the B3 designation? Is it hours of operation?
It is hours of operation. As you know, with a B3, there are unlimited hours of operation. But with a B1, they're only operating from 7 to 4:30 or 5. But they're wanting to increase it to B3 because their hours of operation may go from 7 to 9 or something like that, or the latest to 9 p.m. So instead of making this a B3, we may recommend it to be a B2 with a special exception for the hours of operation.
What's the latest in a B2?
The B2, I think, is
7 to
7. 7 to 7.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Is that not 7 to 7?
B1 is 7 to 7, B2 is 7 to 12 a.m., and B3 is 24 hours.
So are you saying that maybe a B2 might be more proper?
Right.
Well, if I could, although
Yes, go
that's the
ahead.
usual operating hours for this restaurant, I think they do want to have the option for 24 hours. And Chad Baker is on a Zoom call with us. He's a representative of the applicant, and he may want to speak to
Well,
that.
before we go on to that, Mr. Roberts, is there anything else we need to get from you?
Not that I'm aware of, but we'd be happy
All
to
right.
take questions.
What restaurant is it?
It's a Chick-fil-A.
Ah,
All right, and who's the gentleman you said?
Chad Baker is on the line.
Mr. Baker, if you could unmute yourself and identify yourself for the record.
Yes, hello, Chad Brubaker, representative from Lascotti Development, buyer to the property and developer. And yes, just to clarify with Mark, it's that our application was to go from a B1 transition business to B3 community and central business district, primarily because of the hours of operation.
Do you envision operating this thing 24 hours a day, or is that just a possibility, that's something, an option you want to add in the future?
We do not, I would say the normal hours, typically around 6 to 10, closed Sundays, but it is breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
All right. Any questions from Mr. Roberts or Chad from commission members?
So a B2 would suffice?
If I'm, we can make the application for B3, if I'm understanding B2 is 7 to 7, that would not.
No.
B2 is till 12 p.m.
12 a.m.
12 a.m., I'm sorry.
12 a.m.
12 a.m. from 7 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Yes.
Right.
It would still, I think the morning would still be 6, earlier, 6:30, 6 o'clock.
So if we went B2 with a special exception to allow you to open to the public at 6 a.m. and stay open till 12 a.m., that would give you 18, math, what is that going to be, 18 hours of operation?
What would be, the opposition to the B3? I guess, we would want to maintain that flexibility in the future if this, if anything would.
Well, I assume what we're about to hear when we go to the neighborhood is that they don't want it open 24 hours a day. But we haven't gotten there yet, but I've been doing this long enough to know what the possible opposition is. No talking in here. Now, hold on a second, Chad. The only people that need to be talking are the person at that ambo, the person on the screen, or some of our support staff when we call on them. I don't want to hear any talking out here in the audience. It's hard enough when we're recording this without having all this grumbling in the background. We will stay here as long as we have to, and everybody will have plenty of opportunity to speak and say their mind and ask questions. But you've got to take your time and take your turn. I'm sorry, Chad.
No, I was just gonna recommend you hear some of the, any other comments from the community, and we can.
Okay. That's fair enough. We'll come back around to that on the rebuttal. If you'll just jot down what it is that they have a comment about, but I assume it's gonna be noise and hours of operation. But all right, is anyone else here to speak on behalf of the application of Lascotti? All right, let's hear from anyone in opposition to the application of Lascotti.
I'm Idell Snowden, and I think I've lived in East Natchitoches for quite a while. I guess everybody over there know me, including everybody in here, because I worked all over the parish when I was working. But we were told when they first bought, when he was about to buy the property, we thought it was going to be from 7 to 7, that they were going to put something like a hamburger shop there. That's what we were told. So now we're concerned about this. If it's going to stay open all night, we don't want that. Now, if it's going to be something that's going to be kind of quiet, we can tolerate the 7 to 12 at night, and no later than that. But if it's going to be noisy, and we thought that once he built something, he was going to build something facing Kaiser. And that's a big lot. I know I live right on the corner. It's a street between my house and that property. And we were told that it would be facing Kaiser. So I just wonder if he plans to let whatever he put there face Kaiser.
Ms. Rock, what is the drawing that's submitted to you show?
This shows that it's facing East Fifth Street, if I'm looking at that right. This is the drawing.
Okay. But there's no entrance proposed off of East Fifth Street, is that correct?
That's correct.
So how will they get in there? We're coming from Kaiser?
Coming off of Kaiser.
And what does it supposed to be?
What is the restaurant?
And what is it?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. And how many hours will it be open?
Well, that's what we're
That's what we're
trying to
talking
determine.
about.
Okay,
That's the whole idea of this application.
Okay, well, it's some other people live in the neighborhood. They're not here. Those people right over there, they live on, what is it? Where? Scarborough. And there's some people behind me, I'm sure, a lot of houses behind my house, because I'm facing East Fifth, but all on Kiggins right on the side of there. It's a lot of people. And they're talking about it. They just didn't come out here to show their concern tonight.
All right. So would you summarize what your position is for me, Ms. Snowden?
Well, I'm just a spokesman for the neighborhood, I'm a concerned citizen, I'll say it that way, very much concerned. I mean, I like to keep it clean over there. You might have seen me when you pass walking out, picking up trash and everything, and I've done a lot of that. I mean, not just this week or the other week, I do it all the time. I've done it all the time.
So once again, what is?
If they build something there, we want it to be something that's going to be quiet, especially after midnight, We can tolerate to 12 o'clock. But if it's after that, we'd like for it to be very quiet.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Snowden.
Okay.
Any questions for Ms. Snowden from the members of the commission? All right. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you coming out. Anyone else to speak in opposition to the application of Lascotti?
My name is Reverend Lamar Richardson. I got most of a question before I go too far.
All right.
I received a letter that these properties being rezoned. And the question is, when you rezone them, what's gonna happen to the peoples who is living in these houses? Is they gonna have to move or
No,
either
sir, the
what?
only property being rezoned is the property that, it belongs to Ingram Properties LLC. That's
Okay.
the only property that's being rezoned. Or
Okay,
that the
well,
application is for rezoning.
well, now
It's
you-
essentially the old Maggio Grocery, plus I think one more lot.
Mm-hmm.
But no one's house is getting rezoned.
Okay, well, that was my concern, because if it just that and nobody's house is being torn down, they have to say,
No, sir, this is
I'm
just
not
all
with
on
that.
land.
Okay, then, I apologize.
That's no problem, Reverend, that's why we're here, we need more people to come out and ask questions. That's what. Yeah, well, hold on just a second, Ms. Snowden. If you want to ask a question, you need to get up so it can be recorded. And so these folks on the line can hear you as well.
I'd like to know, will this increase the payment of taxes on property?
The answer, I don't think, I'm going to answer the question that you asked, but I don't think it's what you wanted to ask. It's going to increase this guy's taxes right here because he's going to have a $1 million facility on it.
Yeah.
But I think the question you meant to ask was, is it going to increase any of the surrounding properties?
Right, that's exactly right.
And the only thing I would say, the only way it would is if your house became worth more.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, it's just math, it's just an algebra equation. If for some reason this increases the value of your house, it will.
Well, I'm the closest person living to it, that's reason why I'm concerned.
You know, I can't fathom it would, but I can't make any guarantees for you. Like I said, the only way I could see it would happen is if your property goes up in value.
Well, I hope not.
Until you're ready to sell.
What?
Until you're ready to sell.
I don't plan to sell.
I understand.
My children might sell, but I won't.
Thank you, Ms. Idell.
Mr. Chairman, there would not be any kind of automatic increase for the neighborhood people there.
No, it'll create Chad, because Chad's taking an empty piece of lot and putting $1 million building on it.
Yeah,
He's gonna be paying.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear to the people in the neighborhood, that they weren't gonna wake up one morning and all of a sudden they got higher taxes because this facility is there.
Sir, this is your time.
Once again, my name is Jamar Ficklin. I'm a resident of 523 Keegan Street. Actually, I just received my letter last week. I didn't get a prior letter. So I'm just now finding out about this. And I oppose it because it's on our street, on Keegan Street, there's more older families there. And also the traffic. It's already a problem with traffic cutting through off East Fifth to go around on Kaiser. Then you're gonna have more traffic coming from this restaurant. And then we have kids that's on that street. And I called the police, it's on record several times about people speeding up and down that street, trying to cut through. That is dangerous.
You're talking about on Keegan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right off where you building the restaurant. So, I mean, what are you gonna plan to do with that? Plus the kids hanging out after hours, just parking lot, and sitting in the parking lot, hanging out like they do at Walmart or Super One.
Well, this is really about the hours of operation
Right.
rather than use of it as a business. I mean, it's already zoned for a business. And if Chad could make it work from 7 to 7, he wouldn't be here. He would have pulled a permit from Miss Rock and they'd be turning dirt already, because it's already zoned B1. So does that change? I mean, is it the hours of operation that gives you heartburn, or just the business use at all?
The business use as a whole, to be honest.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's, any questions for this gentleman? All right. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else to speak in opposition to the application of Lascotti? All right. Mr. Roberts, are you or Chad going to respond in the rebuttal? It's got to be one or the other.
Well, we have, Chad, do you want to respond to any of those comments, or do you want me to, or what's your preference?
I can speak to some concerns about the plan and the design, and then, some concerns about the B2 versus B3 zoning. So just to address the building layout, as, women have raised a concern about the orientation of the building. The design is that the building sits on the East Fifth side of the property, East Fifth Street side of the property. The drive-through facing East Fifth Street, so the building would shield all the drive-through traffic, and the pickup window would be basically at that corner, facing the corner of that intersection. So that would all be shielded from the residential area to the rear. The building faces long ways towards Kezar, and there is an entrance on the side of the parking lot. But it's been designed in a way to kind of shield, the traffic and the pickup window, which, and aside from that, the hours of operation, like we said, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's not intended right now to be open 24 hours, but we would like, based on our application, we requested that, so there was flexibility down the line if that were ever an option. And I also don't know, are there any other restrictions in the B2 zone that, we did research that B2 zone, but are there any other restrictions aside from hours of operation that would be a difference between B2 and B3?
No,
Just hours of operation.
just hours of operation.
I'm pretty sure, I'm looking it up right now, I'm pretty sure restaurant is by right. Yeah, it's a use by right. A restaurant is a use by right in B2, so. I would think.
With the drive-through?
These are so old, we don't have a distinction between drive-throughs and non-drive-throughs in ours. We haven't updated our planning and zoning probably since the 60s. So there wasn't a lot of drive-through back then.
And one other point is we are proposing, to address the traffic concern, there's a entrance out onto Kezar that, the hope would be all right in, right out traffic would just enter right off the main road.
Will there be an entrance from East Fifth?
No.
The proposed plan has a entrance off of Kezar and then a secondary access off of Keegan.
Off of Keegan?
Off of Keegan at the rear, yeah.
You don't have that one, Mr. McAllister?
How can it be off Keegan when it's all residences there?
What, do you have this one?
We don't have let's see, I don't have that picture, Ms.
Yeah, don't have this one?
No, we do not.
I was wondering.
No, we do not have that. Yeah, come off Kaiser. But it's also be off Keegan. Yeah. No, we didn't have that.
Oh, you want to talk about a mess if you did that.
So it's going, so it's opening up back off to Keegan? They're gonna come in here and they go out through Keegan. On Keegan. Yeah, they're gonna open back up to Keegan. Yeah. Okay. And also, with our ordinance too, won't there be a fence
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
There'll have to be a fence
on
along the
Mr. Hardison, Mr. Kerman Hardison's property
Hardison
line?
property, and then, I don't know if it's DeSante. Yeah, I've seen it. That DeSante, there'll be a fence that'll be required that runs from Keegan along the eastern side of the property, then makes a dog leg there to pick up that other lot, and then runs. I
Oh,
guess,
so
to
there
the
will
south.
be a fence,
That's part of the permitting, and that's part of the administration.
right,
That Ms.
that's-
Rock and the inspector will make sure of. That's
I know,
required.
yeah, I know, but I'm saying, for their benefit, that'll be facing Keegan. That fence will be facing Keegan back there, correct?
No, Keegan, no.
East
No.
side of the property.
It'd be along the east
So
side
it's
of the
just, so it's
property.
just gonna be running along Mr. Kermit, Hardison's property?
Right.
Well, that, and then this other, and then it's gonna make a turn and then come up. It's gonna go all the way through to Kaiser Avenue.
Oh, are those lots not commercial property along Kaiser?
I don't know if they are or not.
I was assuming they were commercial property. Because you got a hair salon there, that has to be commercial.
Well,
Yeah, you're right.
the drawing is submitted showing a fence.
It's gonna be, that's residential? Really? Okay,
Okay.
right, and.
So, Chad, do you have anything else? I think we kind
Oh,
of got
really?
sidetracked a little bit.
I don't like going out.
Anything else you need to add?
No, just, I mean, as you pointed out, I mean, we obviously will provide a much more detailed, site plan, as part of the permitting process.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask Chad a question?
Sure.
Chad, I'm unclear on the time frame that you're looking at this particular time. Would midnight for a closing time, is that gonna work for you, or is that unacceptable?
Based on our current operations, that would be acceptable. I think the morning hours would be, we want the flexibility to open for breakfast, early morning. That would probably be a bigger issue than the midnight. We do like, as I said, we got our application for D3, so we have the open flexibility, not knowing, if there are any other, stipulations in the D2 zone, that would limit our operations. But, our intention would be a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, closed Sundays. It varies a little bit, but on average, about 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
I understand, so you're really pushing to extend it more towards the morning hours, the breakfast hours. Are there any possible future plans to extend beyond midnight, serving beyond midnight?
Not currently, no.
So 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. would be sufficient?
I believe so, but I just need to confirm that real quick.
That'd be fine.
Okay, do that.
Take your time.
Hang on one second.
So regardless of,
That's not my It's 7 to 7. 7 to 12. So, if you want something else, you have to do a special, wait, you can do 2 special exceptions, but that's not by right, it's by special exception.
Right.
so no matter what, they can build that Chick-fil-A there and be B1 and go 7 to 7 and come out on Keegan Avenue. And they can do that right now and not even come to here.
That's what
So
I said, Matt.
we
I said
want,
they
we
wouldn't
want
be- They wouldn't
them.
be here, they'd be pulling a permit.
That's what I'm saying. We make sure everybody understands that, though. In other words, we,
You just said that it wouldn't affect the residential neighborhood when it's coming down. That's outlet key, that's residential. And he just stated it wouldn't affect the residential neighborhood. There's only one neighborhood there.
right. But no, what I'm saying,
I have no problem with them building, I can't stop it.
Right, yeah.
My only concern is the traffic coming through because we have kids or older people that live go
Yeah.
to the street. And they be out there playing. We don't have no big front yards on that street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we're saying though, what we're pointing out is that right now, we can't stop them. They have a right to go out on Keegan. Right now. They don't have to be here. If you bought that lot right now, you'd have the right to put a street out onto Keegan and we can't stop you. In other words, there's no discussion. You know, I totally agree with you on the street small and all that, but no matter what decision is made, that was zone commercial B1, once it's commercial B1, they have a right to come in and out of there already way back when. So the only way it would be, I guess, to take it back to the city council or somewhere else,
The
and
city council would
would have
where
to
you-
go back
where you
and make it a
address your
residential
concerns.
area, yeah, or
At the
something.
city council meeting, that's where you address your concerns there.
We having a city council meeting on this?
Yes, you will.
Yeah.
What'll happen is if this is approved, it will go before the city council meeting for introduction only on December the 13th, and final voting will be on January the 10th, right here at 5 p.m. Is that right?
That's correct.
So that's how rezoning works, is it gets, we have to amend the master zoning ordinance, and the only way to do that is the city council has to pass an ordinance amending the master zoning map. And so this is just a step, and the city council sometimes has additional concerns over and above planning and zoning. I'm sorry, Chad.
So could we do, so just our normal hours, we're just confirming, but normal hours of operation are 6 to 10. But again, if there was some flexibility there, we'd ask for 5 to 12, just if there's a day where they want to open at 5:30 or 5 o'clock. We could go with 5 to 12. And then just also, again, the clarification that, there's no other stipulations in B2 that aren't in B3, because we at least have B3 as on our application. So just wanted to confirm that.
So if you could have hours from 5 a.m.
To 12.
to 12 to midnight, you would be satisfied with that? Is that?
That would work for us, and again, it wouldn't be, we likely wouldn't use all those hours, especially on a daily basis, but, and Sundays we would be closed.
I would just, and he's closed Sunday. I'd just point out from our point of view and our concern on our board, I think, if we go B3, and we've said this before, I've brought this up before, if we go B3, you can stay open 24 hours. A Chick-fil-A is going to do great. It's going to be there forever. But if it don't, and you shut it down, then you open up a 24-hour gas station there. Because once we make that switch to B3, that's what that allows. In other words, we're not rezoning for Chick-fil-A, we're rezoning the property from B1 to B3, which would be open 24 hours. That's our concern of the 24 hours. I understand you're wanting the flexibility to have that, but if we kick that in, then these residents will be upset. Because if Chick-fil-A decides in 1 year they ain't making no money and they shut it down and sell it to a convenience store and they open up a 24-hour gas station with a 24-hour run, that's how I look at things when we do from B1 to B3. I don't mind the exception from 5 to 12. I think they'll all be satisfied that they're closed on Sunday. If it stays Chick-fil-A, they'll all be happy as all get out. But if something was to happen then, and we do B3, then we're opening it up to all the time, so.
Understood, and I know we did look at the King, from a competition standpoint. I know the King across the Raising King across the street is open from 1 o'clock on certain nights, and we certainly wouldn't be open that late, but, I guess, again, from a competition standpoint, we want to be able to have some flexibility there.
Chick-fil-A holds its own.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I think you have a lot of fans.
Yep.
Any more discussion by commissioners?
Mr. Whitehead, could I ask a question?
Sure.
Is it possible to go the other direction, have it be 3, but reduce the hours from till 5 a.m. to midnight? You can't go that direction, I don't guess.
No.
No. Usually that's not the way we do it, Mr. Roberts.
I know that's not the normal.
Unfortunately, we're in commissioner discussion time now, Mr. Chairman.
That's correct.
Unfortunately for property owners, who live close to Kaiser Avenue, and many are probably in the same situation that Mrs. Snowden is in. They bought their property when Kaiser was closer to a trail than it was for the thoroughfare that it is now. And of course, as we all know, that part of the world changed tremendously when Walmart decided to put their store, their superstore, out there, and now it has become a major commercial area in this town. So it's getting more and more difficult for us to restrict. And of course, this is already business anyway. It's eventually going to be some kind of business. I will say that I have some knowledge of the Chick-fil-A people. I've had relatives, young people who have worked for them. It is a company, and I have, unfortunately, no financial interest in it whatsoever. But it does seem to be a company that definitely has a moral conscience. Their compass is there, and it seems like they are more concerned about doing the right thing, and I think that will include being as good as they can to people in the neighborhood. So if I lived there, I'd rather have Chick-fil-A if I was going to have some kind of, I hope it's not offensive to them, but a fast food restaurant. That's who I would want to be there. But I also understand the concerns of the people there. If I lived on Keegan, I would feel the same way. But unfortunately, there's been a lot of precedent that's been set in terms of property on Kaiser. I mean, it has basically become downtown Natchitoches now in terms of major commercial activities. So
The only thing I would add, Ron, is that once they put that 5-lane road in there,
that sealed the deal.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and like I say, Ms. Snowden, I've been knowing you for a long time. You're one of the finest people I know, and I certainly hate to see this happen to you and to others, but sometimes things change. You know, we purchase property and we think it's going to be basically the same from now on, and sometimes there are some major changes, and that's very unfortunate, and I really feel for you and others who are in the situation that you're in, but we really can't start discriminating, I don't think, at this point when there's so many other businesses exactly like Chick-fil-A that's already there.
Any more discussion by commissioners? What's the commission's pleasure?
I move we rezone to B2 with a special exception.
For
5 a.m. to
12 midnight.
12 midnight.
All right, that's first of all, we've got a motion to amend the application. A vote yes will just allow us to amend the application. A vote no will leave it as a B3 application, and then we have to vote on that. So do I have a second to Du Bois's motion to amend?
Second.
Second by Lewis. All in favor of amending the motion to have the application be for a B2 with a special exception of operational hours from 5 a.m. to 12 midnight. All in favor of amending the application, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. So now we have an amended motion to rezone this property at a B2 special exception from operation hours from 5 a.m. to 12 midnight. Do I have a motion?
I'll offer.
Ms. Du Bois offers the motion. Do you have a second?
A second.
Mr. Lewis has a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, that carries. And Mr. Roberts, Chad, you know, like I said earlier, I don't know if you were on, Chad, is that it's set for introduction only on December the 13th. But if somebody shows up and says they can't be here on January the 10th, the city council historically has let them speak. So I would suggest that y'all be here for the introduction only. It may be a waste of time because nobody may show up to speak, but I just hate to I hate to tell you not to worry about it, that's introduction only, but the public hearing and voting will be on January the 10th at 5 p.m., right here.
He's got a point.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for appearing remotely. Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
I'd just like to point out one other thing on this, if, you know, at a later, you know, you said your competition stayed up to 1 o'clock. I mean, you do have the option later to come back and refile to change it later. If it don't work out and you ain't making a living at Chick-fil-A from 5 to 12, you can come back and propose to go back to B3 again to see if, you know, you have that option. That's all.
All right, do we have any more new business, Ms. Robb?
No new business.
Roman numeral 6, report of office activities.
No office activities at the moment.
Ms. Flanagan, Roman numeral 7, adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, everybody.